Thank you for staying with us. Well, for more perspectives on this issue of Inec'S preparedness, joining us now via Zoom is the National Youth Council General Secretary, Shomolu Branch, Kola Mohammed. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Let's start by getting your level of confidence in Inec, especially as it concerns the March 18th governorship and national, or rather state assembly polls.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. So, during the last presidential election, INEC has been able to give us some level of confidence initially, but by the antecedents, by the incidents that happened, people are having doubts about INEC's credibility and competence. But INEC was able to do the statutory job according to the Constitution, which it was empowered with. So INEC was able to deliver the election, and here we are right now. People are divided on their opinion. Some are saying INEC is credible, some are saying INEC is not credible. But I'm not in a position to even give INEC a kind of pass mark here. But what I'm trying to say here is, currently, we are going to another election. People have their biases towards INEC because INEC has done some level of non-compliance to their own guidelines, so to say.
Yes, we know all of that. We know that people have different opinions as regards INEC's conduct of the last elections, but we want to hear your opinion. What do you feel? Are you confident that these elections would take a different pathway? Kola Mohammed, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. I said I'm confident that.
Oh, sadly, that's quite disrupted. We cannot hear you. But it would be good to hear your thoughts on this, because it's not just about what people are saying out there. As a pressure group, would like to hear your opinion as regards INEC's preparedness. Let's come back to Matthew Luku while we'll fix the network issue with Kola Mohammed. Now, some people have said that it is those who, the sore losers, in quote, who are complaining about the conduct of the last elections. They are saying that, as far as they are concerned, this is the best elections, the freest and fairest elections that have been conducted in Nigeria since 1999 democracy. Would you also say that perhaps if those aggrieved parties had won, would this still be the narrative?
For me, from the angle I'm seeing it, it's not even about who was declared winner. It's about the process. It's about what will stand to benefit as a country, as a nation, if we do the right thing. It's about what are the benefits if the electoral process is free, fair, and credible. And I can tell you for sure that the benefit, one of the greatest benefits, is that you will start seeing the people who are elected to offices doing the right thing, delivering on the mandate, on their promises, on their manifesto. Because in the first place, it is based on your manifesto, your program, that encourage people to elect you into office. And it is believed that you have been able to identify their challenges, and you give them the promise that I'm going to address this health facility challenge, I'm going to address this infrastructural challenge, I'm going to address this GDP challenge. And at the end of the day, if you have voted on the basis of those promises and you're able to address it.
You've not quite answered my question, but let me come to Kola Mohammed to hear his opinion, or rather his group's opinion on the level of confidence they have in the conduct of this forthcoming elections. Kola Mohammed.
Yes. So, as I was saying, personally, I have confidence in INEC, because the last election has showed us that a lot of new things happened. For example, parties that have never won elections, or individuals that have never won an election before, in terms of party affiliations, won fair and square. You understand? So this is a new thing that INEC has done. Without INEC being upholding the right values and process, this election, I mean, these people won't have won the election in a very, very open contest. We have a situation whereby Labour Party has won in a very, very difficult position that we never thought it will have happened. But because of Inec's credibility, yes, in my opinion, because of Inec's credibility and Inec's openness in those areas, people won the election. It could have been a situation whereby Inec will have wanted to suppress people's mandate or whatever, or subvert it. But in that situation, we have a situation whereby the Labour Party has a large number of elected people or elected position, elected seats in the Senate, and also in some areas whereby a Labour Party won some states and every other thing. Personally, I feel INEC has done a good job, but you can't have a perfect process, really. A perfect process only exists on paper. If you want to actually test how perfect a process is, you have to actually enact it and be in the process. We have glitches here and there during the last election, and we are not, and these glitches will still happen. Let's not kid ourselves. But personally, my opinion is I'm confident in INEC. We have seen people who are even still...
Let me take you up on that, because looking at the fact that the level of those who, or the number of those who voted drastically dropped this particular time. We had below 24 million people voting out of the 87.2 million PVCs that were collected. And that's against the about 72 million that were collected in 2019. And we had, you know, above 30 million people voting. Would you say that that has improved? Has INEC improved in any way going by that statistics?
Well, by the number of voters card that was collected, that...
All right, looks like we've lost connection with him again. But what do you have to say as regards his opinion of how INEC has improved and done well? Yeah, there were skirmishes according to him, but INEC did well.
It depends on, it's relative to say they did well. It depends on what you mean by they did well. Because for me, it's about the process. It's about, let me tell you this. There are some instances where you see the electorates, people who voted, they will be so eager and serious to defend their vote, irrespective of whether election result was transmitted electronically or not. If you have such circumstance, it is extremely difficult to circumvent the rule and change the results.
All right, caller, go ahead with your thoughts, please.
It was that by the number of PVC that was collected, it showed that INEC was ready to work. But unfortunately, we have people that didn't turn out to vote. We can't blame INEC for that.
Let me butt in there, because we had, you know, first-hand live reports of several polling units where there was no INEC presence. There were also issues of voters having to be discouraged because INEC officials got to different polling units late. So I'm wondering where your opinion is premised.
Okay, let us place it side by side with what happened. For example, if we should look at the number of polls, I mean the number of places that the voting didn't take place, or the number of places that INEC officials got to their polling units late and everything, compare it to the places that we had compliance, that they got there early and they conducted the elections and did everything. The percentage will be in an area of 85% good. Wow. And like 15%.
Wow, I'm wondering where you're getting your statistics from, because
I'm just asking for my opinion. Really,
INEC getting to any polling unit early. Most of the polling units
listen to me. In my polling unit, INEC got to this place early. My polling unit
early, what time did they get there?
INEC official.
Okay, this network knows how to freeze at very, very critical points, but of course we won't deal with that. So it's, Carl, are you with us now?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So what time did they arrive at your polling unit?
They got here around 9 a.m. A little bit above 9, like 9:06 or something like that. They got here.
Still late?
Well, that's
okay. Another free.
Let's give ourselves some level of slack here. We know the kind of system we run. We don't have a perfect system. Let's not kid ourselves.
So when
but we have to do.
Caller, once
we see that it's even better that they don't come at all and they run an election.
Caller, let me butt in here.
Go ahead with your question.
When you say they came early and you're being asked the time and you're given 9 o'clock, how early is 9 o'clock? That's number one. Number two, they came late, and of course in some areas they were complaining that there were no sufficient materials. Caller, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm listening to you.
I'm gonna take you based on what you just said, because my colleague was asking you how early, and you said 9 o'clock. And how early can 9 o'clock be? That's number one. Number two, are you also aware that in most areas, even when they arrive late, most of them didn't come with sufficient materials? And when they came with sufficient materials, they were giving excuses of the network not being able to allow them to upload. So how can you score that kind of process?
Okay, now let me answer you again here, because you asked for my opinion and I have to respond to you based on my personal experience and what I've seen. I voted in Shomolu local government, right? And the places I was able to move around to an extent. And what I saw during the time of voting, there was no complaint of any kind of what you have said now. We had sufficient material. People were able to vote without any kind of suppression. People's voice were heard. We were there to count the election after the voting. And the uploading of whatever that you complained about, we didn't have any issue about it. So what I'm saying is, experience is relative, really. My experience is what I'm talking about. I can't talk about any other experience where I haven't been to.
So
but personally,
my question to you is that since experience is relative, which we are not here to contest, what I'm saying is that is that enough for you to score that process above 50?
It is enough for me, really, because I didn't see anything that would give me an alternative reason. Yes, I can't discount other people's experience. Their experience are valid as well. But let us juxtapose it. Let's place it side by side with what we have outside. It is easy to always beam out the negative aspect of our experience, really, and that is always what is happening here. It overshadows the positive aspect.
Can I ask you a question? Because it seems like you're speaking in favor of INEC. Now, let me ask you a question. Just a very direct question. You run a business. You run a business and you had to contract certain individuals, an opportunity for them to work with you in certain aspect, and you made available funds for that particular project. Are you saying, honestly, that this is the kind of result you're going to get and you'll be pleased with it despite the amount that you have been able to mark for that kind of project?
No, so we are making a mistake here. You are comparing INEC with a business, which is very wrong.
This is taxpayers' fund.
No,
let's fund. You're talking about here. This is
no.
Made available for this process.
Yeah, you can't compare INEC. You can't. The comparison is actually out of it. You have to have like something that comes really close to it. Comparing INEC with business.
What comes close to it?
Yeah, it doesn't come close, really. So what I'm saying is, in essence,
very, very specific.
Well, let's not make this all about, what's his name, Caller, because of course he's trying to speak from his own perspective. But one would expect that they have done a national holistic, review of the elections. But let me come to you, Matthew. Of course, we've seen all of these issues. There's also the issue of this Oro, the traditional festival that is supposed to happen in a local, or rather in a community at Etiosa local government. And a lot of people have said that this is a way to disenfranchise Nigerians or the electorate in that particular area. But the community leader has come out to say it's not about any electorate. We're going to end the rights before the elections. And so, but what do you make of all of this development?
To start with, I'm a Christian, and I can understand that the Constitution gives people right of freedom of worship. And if somebody is trying to do some ritual has been done his own worship. I don't think it's up to me to interfere. But I haven't said that if it is going to interfere and obstruct people from going to cast their vote, I don't think it's right. But if it is not within the time that people will make movement to go and vote, I don't think it's up to me.
They're saying they'll conduct it the midnight before Saturday's elections and that it will end by 3 a.m. But
as long as it does not interfere with other people's rights and what they're doing is within their rights, I don't think it's up to me to start condemning it. That does not mean because I have my own belief, but my belief does not empower me to start questioning other people's belief. Even God himself gives people free will.
Yeah, as much as we want to respect people's culture, as much as we want to respect people's rights to whatever. Okay, let's quickly take our Zoom guest. All right, caller, as we move closer to the election, what is your expectation like?
Well, my expectation is that INEC should improve on their lapses. The vivid lapses that have been shown, that have been expressed by electorates and the populace, INEC should improve. And we as citizens, we should also have confidence in the system we are trying to relate with. If we don't have confidence in that system, that means we've already given up before the start of the election. So we've had some improvements really in terms of results, but it wasn't satisfactory to most of us, also some people, based on whatever outcome we were expecting. But right now, we have another chance of also extracting what INEC has brought forward to us. So we should look into that and see a way of having confidence in it. INEC should improve. Then we too, we should improve our way. Really, we should improve our way. If to whom much is given, much is expected. Yes, we expect very, very, very high standard from INEC. So we should also try to comport ourselves. We should follow the laws and see that we vote without any kind of fighting or disrupting the process, whatever the urge or the system or the circumstance may be. So we should vote for our conscience, make sure we hold INEC accountable for whatever lapses they are bringing forward. So, and I wish that we have a better Nigeria at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, my question.
Thank you very much, Kola Mohammed, for your time on the show this morning.